How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois, joined by my co-host, the man in the golden mask. He's too hot to trot somewhere in Ochoville where it's 78 degrees and he's not happy. Dr. Ocho. Good evening, Och.
I glisten better in the heat, though. That's the only good thing. I don't do well in the heat, but I glisten good, and it just, my bodies pop a little better, which is probably tough to do at this point.
Johnny Sperone, what's up, buddy? Yeah, but I still question the 78-degree thing. That's not very hot.
It is when the house is the same. With the house is that temperature, you know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying. We got the windows open. I'm not throwing the air on just yet. Not that I'm frugal, but look, I can rough it. I'm Ocho. I can do anything, damn it.
Remember the Frugal Gourmet?
No, I know the name, but no. Of course it's about food, and you know it.
Well, that's the only reason why. Also joining us is the third member, the man with the name of the marquee. He is number one in your hearts. He is the ever-evolving, but still the sexiest man in the world. That'll never change. Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. What up, JP?
Looks like light blue is the color of the day.
Yeah, Ocho didn't get the memo, obviously.
Is there a reason John can't hear us?
Sound. Is that on his end, or is that just because we're dummies? I hear everybody.
There it is.
Every week.
Problem solved.
Every week. It's just John, because he's a moron. So, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I didn't wear my white hat, otherwise we'd been matching way too much.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you'd be like the Blues Brothers.
You should go get it. Hey, Ben Austin, what's going on, buddy? Anyways, we have a very special guest tonight, celebrating her husband's birthday. Happy birthday, Eric. It is the one and only.
Oh, I told her she wasn't coming in. Are you bringing her in?
She's coming in. She's more than happy to join us because she loves hanging out with us.
Cool.
It is Miss Stephanie Sheridan.
Hi, guys.
Good evening, Steph.
What's up?
Happy birthday to your hubby-to-be, Mr.
Yes.
Eric. Yes. Yay. I'm very, very jealous of the steak that you prepped.
Yes. Phenomenal steaks we made tonight. He is on the deck watching the World Series of Bowling. We've drugged the whole TV out of my office and put it on the deck. So
it's nice at home now too, because it's been beautiful here in Vegas the last 3 days.
You should screenshot that and take a picture of that and then put it up to the screen. Let's see this layout. Tell him, cute Eric, to take a picture.
An all Eric situation. So he has the tablet watching us, and he has the TV watching the World Series outside right now. So
all right, screenshot this.
He'll put it up for sure.
Well, good stuff. Well, it's good to see you as usual. And
Good to see you.
what do we want to discuss while we have her?
Well,
Want to open up with?
I wanted to open up with EJ Tackett is still on a roll and still bowling his face off. Like, he's just unconscious right now. And having quite the year. We're going to get to a couple others later, but I just want to start out with him. Johnny, we know he's a great bowler, right? But, like, what do you attribute to his success this year?
Got the onus off his back. He stopped worrying about not performing on television, and sometimes it takes a couple tries at it. Sometimes it takes just that one moment to click where every time you're in that same moment, now you're thinking positively instead of negatively. I go through streaks of it when I'm bowling league, where if I need a hit in the 10th, I'll get the hit in the 10th for seems like 6 months straight, and all I think about is how perfect the shot's going to be. Whereas there's other times in league where no matter how much I try and give myself positive self-talk, I go 4 through the middle, or I flag a 7-pin, or I do something to lose. But he's not only on one of those extremely high waves, he's also undoubtedly the best one-handed bowler on the planet.
Right.
And they were talking about this somewhere recently, and the separation between a mediocre player and a good player is way, way closer than the separation between a good player and a great player. And EJ, Anthony, Belmo, in this generation, those are just the greatest we've ever seen. They play an entirely different game. They approach it an entirely different way than most other bowlers, and that's what really makes them the greatest. And yeah, he's just completely on a different level. And like we said, going into the World Series, we kind of wanted to see Belmo go on a little bit of a tear to tighten up the Player of the Year race. But with the way that Anthony and EJ are bowling now, I mean, it's like kind of like for the first time in over 15 years, Belmo's chasing somebody else.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Oh, my candy.
It's in my pocket.
Stephanie, what have you seen from EJ out of this year?
The hands down most incredible mental game of anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. We could talk about his physical game all day long, but I think to do what he has done and to do what he is doing even right now as we speak, because they're bowling, his mental game is something to talk about. He is the definition of, we're going to bowl this frame because this is the only thing that matters right now. What I did yesterday doesn't matter. What I'm going to do on the show doesn't matter. And I think his mental game has a lot to do with why he is doing what he's doing, if that's a fair assessment.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, absolutely right. And we've seen
he would make appearances here and there and do kind of well, but now he's in every show. He's on the leaderboard every tournament. That's hard to do, even if you are the best. To be with so many talented bowlers out there, like he's saying he said there's a big difference between the good and the great, but now the great, there's very little separation between these great bowlers, and he's still on the top of the leaderboard every week.
Correct.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm sorry, John, to cut you off, but I feel like that's exactly what takes me back to the mental game aspect is Simonson is phenomenal. Belmo is phenomenal. We're not arguing any of that. EJ is fantastic, but I feel like the mental game is ultimately what separates those players on tour. If that
almost has to, because again, their talent is between there are 232.8 average to a 231. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's minute amounts that separate their physical characteristics.
Yeah. And it's easy to get excited. It's easy to say, I went a million over today, and EJ is the 2 seed for the Cheetah, if I'm not mistaken. And it's really easy to say, I'm already on one show, and maybe somebody else would get a little bit lazy with it and be like, well, I already made a show this week. I did what I came here to do. And his mental game is strong enough that it allows him to say, no, my job is not done. I made a show yesterday, and that's awesome, but today's a new day, and, I have to go back to work.
Yeah, I mean, he's on fire right now, and he was second in the Scorpion, and he's leading the World Championship overall. And I mean, Johnny, there's a lot of games that they're bowling. Like I know they said they bowl a lot during the Masters and all that, but like this is a huge like cycle of tournaments with all the different patterns and the World Championship. Like it's in the USA versus the world. There's a lot of bowling going on in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, it's insanity. Before it goes too far, I want to answer Jeff's question. And by the way, hello Jerry, hello Taryn, Kevin, Nicole. Good to see you guys, Jerry. Thanks
Ronnie,
for sharing.
Robbie, Ricky, page. And Mike. If I love the girl, who cares who you like?
Holla.
Now, you better slow it down. Take it over, JP.
All right. Jeff says, what are your thoughts on the animal pattern qualifying? Do you like the 20 games and take the top 5, or should qualifying be less games and include match play to determine the top 5?
Good question.
I have personally always liked match play. I think it's cool that you're bowling for incentive bonus pins, and I like that you can bowl at 200 and still go plus 30 for the game. However, I do think with the way that they're doing it these days, where they're kind of making each tournament or tournament series unique in their own special way. So, no, it's kind of cool in the respect that total pins is comparable to total strokes in golf. So you really are getting the guy who flat out bowled.
That's what I was thinking of. That's why I was thinking about match play, like how it's you get bonus points for beating a guy, but you still didn't knock as many pins down. That was my only take, and you took it. So go for it.
Yeah. So like for instance, if the tournament leader could average say 228, but goes 16-8 in a 24-game match play format, and qualify third because two guys went 20-4, even though they averaged 2 pins less a game. So in that respect, I do like it. I think that maybe they could have given the guys like a day off here and there. I mean, they're bowling 60 straight fucking games. And then if you bowl the TQR, it's 70.
True.
And then if you make the World Championship, then you got all those games. So it's a shit ton of bowling. I mean, I can't bowl one game with my thumb in the ball. I can't imagine, like, what are these guys doing when they go back to their hotel?
I was just going to say, the guys with the
shoving in a potato, loading up on, they got to be loading up on something to friggin' take down the swelling. I mean, it's, I like it because it's nonstop action. It's nonstop bowling. And we're getting, for those of you that either use somebody else's Bowl TV subscription or have it, go right ahead and check it out because it is very, very impressive. I use yours and hers.
You do. By the way, I got a message from...
I got to get someone's password then.
I got a message from Eric.
Here we go.
Here we go. There it is.
Here is the setup. That's a sweet setup.
Yep.
And the sunset in the background. Oh, JP can't see the picture again.
Oh, Christ, really?
Again?
Really, John?
Let me exit full screen. Do I have to go this way so you can see me again? There's nothing here.
Dude, there's plenty there. It's an awesome picture. There's a freaking a TV. There's a tablet. There's a cute little candle. There's a sunset.
I'll send it to you in the chat, buddy, so you can see it.
That's horrible, man.
I'm so sorry.
I don't get to see
massage cream I see out there?
I can only imagine what other photos you put up knowing that I can't see them now.
You naked, usually, but I mean, yeah.
Well, that's going to really get us some viewers.
Now we're talking.
I'm so sorry you can't see the picture, Johnny.
It's all right, fuck it. It's
only him. Fine. Everybody else can.
Literally.
Can people in the chat see the picture? Give us a 1 or something, or give us a yes.
Steph, can you see the picture?
I can, yeah. Can you hear me? Because I'm not on the screen.
Sure, no, we absolutely can.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yep, no, I can see it.
No, just
see, I see Steph perfectly right now. I don't see a fucking picture.
That's so weird, dude.
Valerie sees it. I said cute little candle.
And do you realize
everybody
sees
it?
The fifth laptop I've used for this show.
Oh, I know. You've had nothing but issues with laptops.
Nothing.
I know.
Nothing.
What are you using now, Johnny? Is it a MacBook or something like that?
It's a ThinkPad.
ThinkPad.
Oh, what?
You sure you're not using like a can of soup with a string on it? Like
it's a 1987 IBM ThinkPad.
He's using a Commodore 64 with a disk drive and a tape deck.
Hi, Sherry. April 29th, doubles tournament. There's my partner, Sherry. We're going to kick some ass.
You guys are going to...
green screen is so awesome. There's like somebody walking around.
Is the picture still there, or are we...
No, we're
I took it down, Johnny. I took it down. Okay. Do me a favor, Johnny.
My high school computer.
Johnny, just for ha-has, pull up your Facebook page on your phone and watch the stream and see if you can see the picture that way. Just for shits and giggles.
I'm not going to do that right now.
No, take a second.
No. Let's talk about the reason people are here. Let's talk about bowling.
So now they're making fun of you for not seeing the picture. So
yeah, pretty much.
That's fantastic.
Jacob Buttriff is having one of his best years.
I don't know about that, but I'll go with you.
Well, I said one of his best years.
Okay.
I was gonna say his best, but I'm like, Johnny's gonna take exception to that. But no, he is bowling really well. In our off-stream chat, you mentioned you want to talk about him. So, what specifically do you want to talk about when it comes to Mr. Buttriff?
Just that his excellence is undeniable at this point. It's comparable to when we're talking about EJ and Anthony. It's a little bit different. I mean, I'm not going to say it's because he's left-handed, because partially you kind of you have to separate the two. The same way you got to separate EJ from Anthony and Belmo, because he's a traditionalist compared to a two-hander, right?
That's fair.
But on the left side of the lane, the new Parker Bone, in my eyes, is Butters. And what I mean by that is you have to play with that toy. You can't pick another toy.
Rochelle, put that toy down.
Play with something else.
I think he was going to laugh at
Point for Ocho. Point for Ocho on that one.
But he's what he did for those of you that don't know, again, like Jeff said earlier, this is 20 games, total pins, top 5 make the show, and there's 113 guys in each of the events. Jacob on a cheetah pattern that, again, cheetah is not like the cheetah of old. It's a little bit trickier. They get a little bit funky. You really got to find the right slot. Otherwise, you can really get caught. You can get bit by the cheetah if you're in the wrong spot. But what he did was, after a fairly mediocre first 2 blocks, he came out with 10 games left, and he went from 86th place to 4th place, including a 300, on a pattern that you had to make good shots on.
Yeah.
And I watched most of those games because I was on vacation, for Easter. And I watched most of those games. And in the meantime, my 2 closest lady friends, Stephanie and Susie, and Jacob, the 4 of us have been text messaging each other since the start of the World Series. So it's been a lot of powwows, making each other laugh, building each other up, and this and that. And just to talk to somebody of that status and then read the words that he's writing simultaneously while he's going out there and out averaging the field by 35 pins a game against the greatest bowlers in the world. And it's just, it's really cool. It's cool for me personally to be involved with somebody of that caliber on that level. And just to watch what he does with a bowling ball. It used to be funny, the way he gets to the line, how awkward it looks and this and that. But to tell you the truth, I mean, not many guys had better hands at the bottom than Mike Lickstein, and not many guys looked uglier than Lickstein getting to the foul line, right? But
true.
I would kill to have that kid's talent, that kid's, like Steph said earlier, his brain, his game. And right after he shoots himself up and makes the show at the cheetah, now he's out there on a 42-foot Scorpion, controlling the lane beautifully. He shoots another massive block with a 290 and a 260 yesterday. He's in 3rd place. I watched his first game. They're bowling right now. He shoots 258. He's the same kind of cruise control on the left side of the lane that EJ is on the right side of the lane. So if you look at 25 bowlers, you're going to notice EJ and you're going to notice Jacob, simply because when they miss, they really just don't miss bad either. Jacob hasn't left, I think, maybe 10 splits in this entire event. And he's going on game 40 right now with 20 to go. So I just wanted to give a massive, massive shout out to his absolute excellence. And I think it's just really, really awesome to watch. And not to mention, it adds to the variety of the shows now. We got lefties, we got righties, we got two-handers, we got guys that hook, we got guys that throw it straight. I mean, I just think he's a really, really great addition.
I love this bowling alley.
Can I read and then speak to a text that Jacob sent to our messages the other day? He said, although I'm so happy with how I bowled yesterday, meaning the block where he made the show, and I know I gave it my heart, it's back at work to now make the Scorpion show. And I said, yes, sir, new day, new event. That, again, speaks to the mental game where he said, I bowled great yesterday, but we're still working, and now it's a new day.
He didn't get to enjoy it. He's going right back to the grind again.
Right back to work. And my response to him was, this statement has a very Norm Duke vibe for me, because Norm Duke did an interview once where he said something along the lines of, I bowled great yesterday, but yesterday is done and today is in front of me and I can't think about yesterday anymore. And I feel like Jacob went into Scorpion the last 2 days with that mindset where he was like, I bowled great on Cheetah the last 2 blocks. I had the highest 2 game blocks that was scored in the tournament. And I made the show and that was awesome. But I still have to go back to work and I have more to do. And that was exactly what I just spoke to about EJ and why I feel like EJ is succeeding in the way that he is succeeding. And to hear Jacob have that mentality was very, very profound. Because like I said, he said, you know what, that was great, but we still have work to do. And that's it.
In past shows, we've discussed bless you. Bless you.
No, that was a cough, but thank you.
Coffee very much.
It was.
In past shows, we've talked about how they're just wired differently than someone could be great, but they're not a champion now. Now, maybe that's the next level, the great bowlers, and then there's the champion bowlers. Maybe we can add that context to any level of degree now because they're just wired differently, and some people just don't have it. They can have all the talent. If they don't have that factor, if they're not wired that way where they're ready to go, or again, it's a different mindset. Some people are content with a championship, and maybe you should enjoy it, but guys that are wired differently say, okay, I'm done with that. It's back to work. It's back to the grind. And here we go. And this is why I do this, and talk about committing everything of your life to it too.
They're at work. And I feel like that's a lot of what the general public fails to understand is they are at work in the same way that I get up every day and I get up and I teach and I go to work. They get up and they go to the bowling center and they're working, whether it's a local tournament where they can make a couple bucks or the World Series of Bowling, they're working. Point blank. That's how they make their money.
Yeah. Ricky Smith actually makes a great point. Didn't Belmo tell Packy that advice? That was going to be my next topic. Great segue there, Ricky. Belmo opens up the Packy on the House Bowling channel. I sent this. I sent the link to you, Johnny, earlier last week. And said I want to talk about it this week. I didn't watch it. Seeing that side of Belmo was incredible. Like a guy of his stature in the sport, pretty much just kind of tell everybody how he goes about his game, and kind of breaks it down and even gives Packy advice. He ribbed him for the last, I don't know, however long, saying that he's going to help him, give him this super life-changing swing tip. But then he just didn't give it to him, and every time he had a chance to, he just couldn't get around to it, to where eventually it just became a running joke and a running gag that he was never going to tell him. But since he gave Packy, he gave him the edict that if he strikes, he can ask him any question he wants. Obviously, Packy took advantage of that and asked him, what was that swing tip you want to give me? And what really thrilled me the most about watching Belmo, just open wide up, because he does do that on his channel as well. But this was still a different side of him that I'd never seen before. And, he pretty much said the same thing. It's always on to the next. You never get complacent. He always wants to stay hungry. He always wants to be the best. Nothing is ever good enough. It's like Tom Brady. How many Super Bowls did Tom Brady need to win? He just kept playing and playing and playing until he got to the point where he's like, all right, I think I'm fucking done.
Until he got divorced.
Exactly right.
That's a commitment.
It's contagious, man. It's like anything else in life. And all the greats in any sport, or all the greats in any, it doesn't even have to be sport, in any walk of life.
Contagious is such a great word for it.
It is.
It is a really good word.
No one's ever said it like that. We say they have the mindset.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking A, right. It's got to be contagious.
Dude,
yeah.
Being contagious is what makes, I mean, I'm not really big into this guy, but contagious works with anything. In other words, who's that guy? That Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
You guys know who that is?
The vigilante, I called him.
But just his
Jesus dude.
But just just his presence, just his actual presence, what he's trying to speak. It doesn't matter the people that don't like him. He has millions and millions of people that feed and are contagious off of that energy that he's letting off, right?
So did Jim Jones.
Yeah,
you could do that with anybody. So that's what it's not specific to just sports. It's any top person in whatever trade they do. Rochelle's a real estate broker. It doesn't matter if she sells 25 houses in a year. She wants to sell 35. That's how you get to be that level. Like we always talk about weightlifting. There's only half of 1% of guys that could ever compete on stage.
Yeah.
But everybody, at least, you have to be somewhat crazy to some extent if you think you're going to be on an Olympic bodybuilding stage. You have to have that mentality to get there. It's the exact same way, like AJ Johnson, here's a prime example. I think, and this kills me to say because I am so overly emotional, that I actually love watching AJ bowl. But
John's going to say what I have been thinking for a year and a half. Go ahead,
AJ's
John.
too emotional. He's like this. He is so up and down, even when things are good. He said in an interview, just to give you an idea, this is the difference. This is why AJ Johnson has 0 titles and Jason Belmonte's got 20. AJ said in an interview on Bowl TV, and I'll say this because he's the one that said it, and then I'm just going to analyze the statement. You guys can let me know what you think about it in the comments and on here too. Osku comes in, and you keep pointing. Is there another picture there?
No, I'm just pointing at Ocho because our buddy Mike Val said Ocho's my soulmate.
Oh, there's Mike. Hi, Mike. AJ's in the booth, and Osku's in there, and he goes, we say that his name is Adam Johnson because his AJ is just his name. It's not short for something different. And they brought him in the booth and said, why'd you change your name to AJ? And he says, because when I was a kid, somebody said my name dumb.
Okay, so
what I mean in closing is when I say if you allow other people to affect you, you allow things like a fucking second grader.
Can I say mentally weak? But mentally weak in second grade is different
comparatively to the best in the world in any trade, which is the whole point that I'm bringing up.
And that's why
it
Pomo is
the sole reason why AJ's got no titles.
Right.
Can I play devil's advocate? Just for a second. So I have known AJ for a minute. And I think watching him go through college bowling, John, comes with a lot of emotions, and you are groomed, for lack of a much better word, to thrive off emotions. And I think it took AJ a minute to realize that when you get into the PBA, you technically don't get to have those outward emotions that you do in college bowling because you're bowling for yourself. And the devil's advocate part of that is Cheetah. He got up in the 10th frame of game 20 of 20, knowing that he needed to punch for a chance. And he split the 8-9 in all 3. He got all of it done to tie because the other guy did the exact same thing, which was awesome. And then in game 21, that technically shouldn't have happened because it wasn't part of the schedule, he punched again while he doubled in flat 10 or whatever to make the show. And what he said was, that is what I'm built for. So has he come to the point where he can use his emotions as an advantage, where he can use his emotions as a drive to say, I haven't won a title yet, but I really freaking want it, and use that to actually get there.
So I was going to say, I'm going to be devil's, but we're halfway through her sentence or statement. I was going to say, let me be devil's advocate then, because what if he doesn't use any emotion and then he just shits the bed every week because he doesn't seem like he's invested in it because now his passion's gone.
Are his emotions what fuel him
what
to
gets
get
him
there
to
now?
his level?
Yeah.
And
could very well be.
I came up through college bowling, and so did John. And again, we were kind of groomed that emotions are what make you good. Emotions are what fuel your team. They're this, they're that. Where when you watch players Jacob and Simonson and EJ and Belmo, they're very stoic and they're very quiet, but that's what fuels them is the inward emotions, where people like John and AJ and I came up through the college bowling circuit where we were told that more emotions the better. And I wonder sometimes if AJ just needed the time to acclimate to the PBA tour where emotions are good, but maybe take it from here to here. And part of me really, really thinks he got there, especially because of the Cheetah Championships where he learned how to use those emotions in a better, more productive way.
And is it one of the monkey off your back thing? When he gets his title, is he going to go on a run now? Oh, shit, that's what it's like to win.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and two things
could be fun to watch.
To feed off it. Number one, I agree with Ricky. I want guys on TV to be emotional. I hate
Me too.
Watching boring bowlers on TV is like watching it. You may as well watch paint dry. Like I would rather, sew my head to the carpet than watch Dave Arnold bowl one game on television. But
I'd watch you sew your head to the carpet.
I would
There are guys out there. There are emotional creatures. There are stoic people. Everybody has built their own specific way. I was only addressing that, thinking that there's no reason he shouldn't have a win. He's a how many time Team USA member. He's a collegiate champion. He's done virtually everything you're supposed to do. He makes dozens and dozens of shows, and he's fantastic. He's a sensational player.
I'm so emotional, baby.
Fundamentally,
I just watched that movie last night.
He's such a strong player fundamentally. When you look at point A to point B, and then you let go of the ball and it's C to D. He has it 100%. He is one of the most fundamentally sound players I've ever seen in my entire life. And to speak to what Frankie said in the chat where he said, I think he actually needs to reverse it and quiet the mind. I do feel like he is getting there. I have said forever and a day that I feel like AJ is one of the most talented players on tour without a title. And I feel like he is getting to the point where he's letting himself get excited and he's letting the emotions come through, but he's learning how to tame it enough to do what he needs to do, i.e. the 20th and the 21st game in the Cheetah.
Yeah, he got to dial it back on those few steps he takes to throw that freaking rock, basically, where, which that has got to be a hard freaking thing to do.
So
I'll get nervous, man. I'm watching the damn TV and I'm like, man, that needs to strike to win a tournament.
Both Frank and Sherry brought up some good points. Both Frank and Sherry brought some really good points up here. And again, Frank, I agree. I like emotional AJ. I just think that it might be impeding his winning. So maybe he does have to attempt to quiet the mind a little bit, but that's something far deeper than just sport, AKA, or, his name being made fun of. So that's an entirely different mental issue. And trust me, I completely understand all about those because I'm fucking nuts. And then Sherry, another one whose talent outweighs the level of their success. And that's what's crazy is, to me, Marshall and AJ are like Steph said, throwing those back three dead flush just to have a chance at the roll-off to beat Farmers Blomgren, or what was his name?
I have no idea.
Whatever.
Farmers Market?
Yeah, it's getting ready to take the market.
But they're so good. That dude is...
But there's some guys that when it gets to television, again, I've never been on television to bowl, so I don't really know. But there are some guys who thrive, like Norm Duke, Mike Albee. If they made the show, it's really, really hard to beat them because they live for the moment of throwing the shot that it takes to win. Whereas Marshall's experiences on television have not gone as such. And remember when I said earlier that it could all be dictated by one moment in time?
Yes.
Think back to the 2012 or the 2013 World Series of Bowling when it was out here in South Point. And not the regular bowling alley, not the plaza, when they built the temporary installed lanes in one of the conference rooms on the second floor. That first show that Marshall made, he was wearing that god-awful, I love you, Marshall, but who the hell wears black and white checkered pants with a striped shirt? Anyway, he gets up in the 10th frame, and he leaves the blower 7-10 to lose, the Scorpion. And he should have won that tournament, and that should not have stood. I'm telling you, a little stamp like that in time, anywhere in your life, I don't think Marshall's ever forgotten it. I think
it's the here we go again mantra there. Because I remember last time. Now here's a different thing. Now your dad had a had the front 11, and then he freaking chuckle butted his last ball. He kind of skipped it. It left an 8 count, and he said, if I'm ever in that position, I now know what it feels like. I'm never going to do that again.
Never going to shoot 298 again. For those of you that don't know that, in 1978 at the Long Island Open, my dad had the front 11 with his coach, Andy Verapapa, sitting right behind him, and he dead yanked the 12th shot and left it 2-4.
But remember, he skipped it too. Like his form was off.
Stuck in the line. He was bent over at the waist. His follow was stuck. His thumb went down. He literally could not have thrown a worse bowling shot. It looked like one of mine. It was really putrid. I mean,
it was a nerve-wracking shot, basically.
Pretty gross. Yeah, it was $10,000 and a new Cougar in 1978.
A new chick. All right.
So he says, I'll never shoot 298 again because now I know exactly what my tendency is in that situation. And then when I asked him, when he did bowl 300 on TV for $100,000 in 1994, I said to him, because he's whispering to himself as they got a close up on his face for the 11th and 12th shots. And he was sitting there saying, oh, just 2 more shots to college, 2 more shots to college, pays for college for you and Jamie. So he said he doesn't remember anything other than knowing that he was 47 years old and he was never going to have this opportunity again. And he absolutely had to do it.
I remember you telling me that. I remember the college story. You telling me that it was him saying 2 more shots pays for me and Jamie.
Oh, he did. He did the interview afterwards too. Thanked Ace Hardware. Said he's going to build a shed and with a hammer and everything. It's the best interview ever. And he said college is paid for now.
Heck yeah.
It was fucking badass. It was the most genuine interview ever because I think I don't know if he knew what he was saying at the time either. Like such an because he's
and it was so good too. He really got through it well.
Dude, my God. He barely stumbled, but it was a lot of, huff and puff and clearly excitement, but and they take you right there. It's not like you get a chance to catch your breath. It was so freaking badass. And he lent me the VCR tape when I still actually had a VCR. He lent me the tape to watch it, and he had it labeled. And I was like, I came back. I was like, I wanted to put a fake label over it, but I couldn't do that to him.
Speaking of the 300, there's the first guy that ran out and hugged Dad, Larry McSteam.
That's right.
That was, and apparently
the guy in the suit with the beard.
Yeah. Yeah. He was bald on top, but he still had long hair.
Tried to grow the hair.
He had on a jacket. He kept, he says, yeah. But Larry, if I recall correctly, you guys had dinner the previous night, and you were talking about finances or something, and you said to Dad, well, $100,000 is a start, so why don't you just bowl 300 on TV tomorrow? And sure enough, he did. I'm assuming that's why that was that very, very first awesome, energetic hug from Larry, and always a pleasure to have you here at our show, sir. Good to see you.
He should have given him a cut, though, right? He should have given him a cut of that money for, coaching him into it.
JP, for real, though, who won that tournament? Because I know he lost he's not going to keep that kind of emotion going, but he didn't win.
The next match, he bowls Dale Traber. Traber.
Was the lefty, right?
No, he was a righty. Dad and Forkel were the only 2 lefties on the show. He beat Eric Forkel the first match.
I thought one of the Trabers was a righty that piped it, and the other one was I don't know. One was fat and one was not as fat.
Very good. Dale Traber's the fat one. He was the guy in the number 2 seed. And Dale Traber bowled 193. And my dad needed a double in the 10th, got the first one, and then left an absolute stone fucking 9-pin to lose. And then Dale loses to his brother Dave in the title match. I'm almost done, sweetie. Hang on. He loses to his brother in the title match.
Oh, that's wild.
And the worst part about it is my dad was the only person on that show that bowled 200, let alone 300. So that's solid 9. I mean, let's be honest, guys. If my dad gets past Dale Traber on that show,
he's easily going to win that show.
He's not going to bowl another 190.
And he bowled Walter Ray, who only shot 190 something, I think, or
194. That's who he bowled the 300 against.
He was counting against about Walter shooting 248 or 258, something like that.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted. Me? What, Ocho?
Yeah, me too.
Remember, he was figuring on him shooting 258. He was counting back he said he's going to leave a few ring and tens because his ball was kind of laying flat. And, we did the watch along. And, and every 10 pin he left, he was like, okay, now I only need 8 strikes. Now I only need 7 strikes. This chick wants to sing with me, by the way, this your Taryn chick.
She does.
You can start singing whenever you want. And she is right. I can't hear her. And honestly, I do right back to the emotions thing. Guys, anybody that knows me, I'm as emotional as it gets. It's the reason why I stink. So I'm speaking from experience in the respect that if I was able to maintain some sort of a level head, if I didn't have a million fucking demons running around my head, my physical talent...
spinning out of control.
Easy.
I'm leaving. My physical talent is far superior to my brain. And it's a shame that... I watch guys as talented both mentally and physically, and I'm the only thing that could possibly be the reason why they're not making it is because of something that's going on between the ears. And I see it through the little things like I said about AJ having a problem with his name because one asshole said Adam or Adam instead of Adam. So I'm simply saying that if you let those emotions overtake you,
something's going to
eventually are going to fall over to the other ones.
The thing though, John, one of 100 million reasons that I love bowling doubles with you is because of your emotions, is because of the way that emotions doesn't have to be a bad thing. I feel like people hype emotions up to be it's a negative thing, but emotions can be a good thing. I have a ton of emotions when I bowl, whether or not I show them. And John, your emotions are a good thing, and I don't want you to downplay them and make them out to be a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons I love bowling doubles with you is because there is emotion, there's excitement, we were bowling singles. And I said to you a couple times, and even doubles, I think you need to do blah, blah. And you were like, shut the F up. Stop worrying about me. Worry about you, because that's all I care about. And that's emotion, too. Your emotions aren't a bad thing.
That's again, the difference. I'm a baseball player. I played
I was just going to ask you that. Were you that bad? Not bad.
My God. If you didn't know how many outs there were or where the ball was going, I wasn't doing my job. I was so informative, so loud, so emotional. I would be the guy that would. Yeah,
if you struck out looking, were you? That was a good pitch, or he fooled me, or were you fucking losing your shit?
It depended on the day. Most of the time, I was pretty steady Eddie. When I would get struck out because I didn't strike out a lot.
Because of baseball too, I don't know. There's so many.
I know, Tyron, baseball pants on dudes. I know they get me too.
I still have slider shorts from a few years ago. We'll try them on together. Talking to Taryn, not you. Actually,
Kev, I wish I remembered what I did to Jimmy. Maybe you can let me know. It's frame 8 of game 3.
Probably told him to throw a knuckleball.
I don't really remember much at that point in the night, but. Where the hell was I going? Now Taryn's got me thinking about my ass.
We were talking about emotions not being bad things, and sometimes emotions are considered to be negative, and I don't necessarily think that they are.
Right. Well, we were talking about yes. So when I bowl a team event or a doubles event, my team or me and my teammates are always in contention, always.
Yeah.
I finished second in a PBA regional with the late, great Terry Leon. Chase Nadeau and myself finished 4th when we went out to San Jose. Those are the last 2 PBA events that I bowled that were doubles. I bowled with Art Uzenian, who's a frequent listener to the show. Even though we didn't make the cut, I was the high guy in the tournament for qualifying. I bowl so much better when I have somebody else to protect. My emotions do not ever get the best of me when I have somebody else to protect in my element.
Or depending on you, and you feel like that's... Yes.
And whether they're depending on me or not, I think they're depending on me. And that is enough for me to go out and bowl way better than I ever would if I was going out to prove something to myself bowling in a solo tournament.
So
it is tough enough having my name on the back of a jersey because when they see that name automatically the crowds come and see me. And then I'm handsome on top of it, so even bigger crowds come. And I'm really friendly and bubbly. And then I go out and I bowl 140 because I feel like I have to impress all these people that instead of them saying, oh, here's Johnny's son. Yeah, it's like, you mean he may be good looking and throw good, but he fucking sucks. Like, I know I suck, guys. I got it.
That's why you got to put the slider pants on so your cute ass is hanging out.
Exactly.
That's right.
If I just do that, I wouldn't have to bowl at all.
John and I have had this conversation 100 times. You put that on you, my friend. Your talent speaks for itself. Like, you don't need to put that added pressure on yourself.
Well, thank you.
How many times have we talked about that?
Well, I mean, I
agree.
Part of it, that's true, but like the added pressure, it's not. Is it added? It's added pressure on name alone. If he was Johnny Scoochulingats, it'd be like, oh man, this dude could throw a ball. But like, I get what you're saying too. But maybe not society. Maybe what? It's not. Maybe there is the added pressure that he didn't put on himself, but it's just expected by others, expected by bowler society. Maybe.
I mean, maybe, but
it's I have always been expected to be a certain way because of my father, my predecessor in this field.
By age 12, you were such a douchebag.
For instance, let me give you a prime. Let me give you a perfect example.
Can I ask you a question before you give an example?
Yeah.
Are you expected to be that way by society, or are you expected to be that way by yourself?
I'm expected to be that way by society in the bowling world.
That's what I wanted to ask, Johnny. Is that something you put in your own head, or is that something that?
Yeah, and here's why. I'm gonna this is raw. This is real. My dad's idol was Dick Weber. Okay, that was my dad's idol. Let's just start there. So. This isn't really unfettered, but okay. My dad's idol was Dick Weber.
You said the word
Dick Weber. If you asked 100 people, tell me something about Dick Weber, 100 people would say he was one of the best bowlers and classiest people I've ever met.
Great
he remembered everybody by their first name, even if you only met him once. He always did everything right. Right? That's what. Have you ever heard anybody say Dick Weber's an asshole?
Ambassador to the game, created the
game, ambassador to the game. When people talk about Johnny Petraglia, if you ask 100 people, what do 100 people say? Oh, I love your dad's stories, dude. He's so classy. He's so down to earth. He loves his country. He is always drinking red wine. Does anybody ever say Johnny Petraglia is a fucking asshole?
No.
Behind his back, maybe.
Okay. Now let's go back.
I don't think behind.
If you asked 100 people about Pete Weber, how many of them would say he's a fucking asshole?
A lot. Yeah.
Why?
72.
Why?
Is that percent or just 72?
Is it the drugs? Is it the fact that he was a bad kid, that he was in and out, that he's got banned off the tour, that he throws his hands at his dick when he's on live television in front of kids and women? You could think of a million different reasons to hate Pete Weber. But Pete Weber has no problem being Pete Weber. He's just not Dick. So when I was growing up, my dad always instilled in me the morals of his idol. So I was always made to. Dick Weber was the greatest ambassador of the sport ever. He was well spoken. He was this. He was that. He didn't. And his son, John, you don't want a reputation like that. So please, you got to remember where you are and what you're doing, because if you act like his son, it takes a toll on everything that his dad created. So in turn, eventually, I'm assuming Pete kind of went through the same shit with Dick to some extent. Which is why he did drugs and he drank and he was a little bit fucking crazy, because he couldn't stand having to walk the goddamn straight line all the time. At some point.
Not even straight. That's literally the tightest freaking line. You're talking freaking the Flying Walinda's tightrope line you got to walk in order to do it, because you're talking keeping your nose clean. You're talking not even being caught with a drink in your hand at some point. You're talking not going, oh, damn, a 10-pin or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? That's borderline impossible, and that's why he was the ambassador. That's why the PBA, I guess, took off the way it was. But
hang on a second.
Larry said I should change my first name to Herschel.
Yes,
I like that one too. That was perfect.
Can I really quick? You're talking about all of this.
Steph. Rob, did you want to say something, or did you want Steph to say something?
Just real quick. Sorry, Steph.
No.
Would you have rather wanted to act like Pete and just say fuck it? I'm Johnny Jr. or whatever. Like, I'm my own guy. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm just going to bowl the way I want, act the way I want. Like, would you have rather acted like Pete and just done your own thing? I know it's kind of a stupid question in hindsight, but I mean, yeah.
You asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God.
But what stopped you? What stopped you from doing that? Is it the respect you have for your father?
Yes.
Okay. I figured that. I just wanted you to say it.
I just happen to be a little bit crazier, but I'm not like a crazy. I'm still, I'm friends with everybody, dude. I get along with virtually everybody, and I like being around happy, bubbly people.
Right.
Hence the people that are here on this show. These are my kind of people. They're just happy, genuine, cool people that know how to take a joke, that know how to laugh, that know how to have a good time, and also know that if I'm calling somebody out on some fucking bullshit, that it's okay. I'm calling out for a warranted reason, you know? But I also like to know that if I want to get fucking shit-faced on a Tuesday night, that I can get shit-faced on a Tuesday night while I bowl, just like the other 130 people in my league.
It's blending in and being the regular
see how
guy.
fucking hammered Johnny was last night, or did you see what he was doing in the bar after we were done bowling? No. Did you see what fucking Kevin Wilcox was doing in the bar last night, or Jane Smith that fell in the trash can? No, nobody fucking knows. So in the bowling world, the magnification because of the name has always been a burden on my emotional status.
Yeah, you drinking 2 beers is criminal act, and someone else doing it whenever they want is like, oh, he's just a cool dude hanging out. Like,
that was exactly where I was going with what I was going to say, because I asked John that question one time, and he said, Stephanie, you get to go to league and have a couple seltzers, and if you bowl 170, it gets chalked up as a bad night. He said, if I go to league and I have 2 beers and I bowl 170, it's how drunk is John? What did he do before he got here? There's automatic judgment set because of his name. And that's exactly where I was going before you guys started talking.
Yeah. And that sucks, Johnny. Like, I feel...
That's a hard burden to carry, dude.
I feel bad for you, dude. Like,
that's not easy.
I mean, look, you had a great life. I'm not saying, like, it sucks to be Johnny Jr.
I don't want to sleep over it.
But no, it sucks that you had to have that added pressure, you know, of having to follow your dad. I mean, dude, we've seen that from many people. It doesn't matter, you know, what sport it is. We've seen it, you know, we see it in wrestling. There's, you know, David Flair wasn't good enough to be Ric Flair, but like, who the fuck was? Like, it's
judgment is a whore.
It sucks, dude. It really does suck, but still, like you always do, you make what you can out of it, and you fucking thrive either way.
Oh, totally, man. Totally. But it's at least gives a little bit of a different look on it. And again, if you haven't experienced it in some respect in your life, you'll never really understand what it is like.
Yeah.
So, and again, I mean, Taryn mentioned everybody expected her to be a doctor because her dad's a doctor.
Right.
It could be. It doesn't just have to be sport, but obviously. True. In the things that are magnified and more visible to the public, it's you gotta walk a fine line. And meanwhile, I say I'm worried about all this shit, but I motherfuck every Tom, Dick, and Harry on this show publicly. So I don't. If you don't know I'm nuts by now, just tune into the show one week.
But I mean, I had the same kind of issue with my family. Is, you know, my dad, my uncle, and their father worked for a company called Pratt & Whitney, who makes aircraft engines and aircraft parts. Part of United Technologies, and you know, they worked there their entire career. Only fucking job they ever had. They expected me to fucking follow suit and do the same thing. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do that. Like, it's cool. I probably could have had a job if I asked. It was never offered to me, but I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
if they wanted to put me in there, I'm sure I could have had it. But it's not something I wanted to do. I didn't feel any pressure like that to go there, because I just.
Do you really think it's similar though, Rob, than what Johnny's going through? Like, I could have been an electrician like my dad.
It's not. I mean, it's along the same lines of Taryn. You're fucking.
It's following the footsteps. I get that, but like, it's not like it's not like there's a freaking nation of people at Spector, wherever the fuck this place is, going fucking Rob.
Less of a public eye.
I gotta refill my drink.
Okay, but I mean,
I do too. Actually, are we allowed to do that?
Yes, my dad expected me to fucking follow in his footsteps, and was kind of disappointed that I didn't.
What societal conflict did you have with that? I'm just being a dick a little bit.
You are being a dick, which is like, fair.
Because I was thinking of something funny that I was going to interject, and you actually said it, and I was going to go, yeah. When I was working with my dad, when he was building circuit boards and I was running harnesses, I just didn't have it in me. So I feel you, man. I feel that pain, and boy, did I really. It came down on me. All my friends were like, "What are you talking about? You couldn't match 8-gauge wire to 12-gauge wire? What's wrong with you, dummy?"
Ocho, you're the only Italian
So I got a doctorate.
The only Italian luchador that I know that ever got a doctorate. So, I mean, that's good for you, though.
And I could still run harnesses and change GFIs and whatnot, so we're good.
What's up, Troy?
Troy, what's going on? Good to see you, Troy.
What's up? Go bowling since I just took
let me segue into this.
Don't bowl after the drink.
Let's move into one of our final topics here. Holla, holla, holla. Did you guys enjoy bowling at the Holler House this past Saturday?
I love the Holler House. I'll leave it there. I think it's awesome.
I agree. I've never seen it before.
I think it's awesome. I've never been there, but historically, I think it's awesome. And I mean, John, sorry to jump in front of you if you were going to say anything. I think it's awesome. It's super historic. I've heard a couple people be like, oh, but they hand oiled the lanes. But that's what makes it fun. Like, the lanes are hand oiled. It's 2 lanes. Everything's uneven. Everything technically sucks.
Yep.
But I think it's awesome.
People really said that they were complaining that they were oiled by hand. Did they see the size of that place?
Yeah, I heard it a couple
times. An oil machine down there. And why would you want? I would never want to bowl on those lanes with a new age oil machine.
Yeah,
I want them to freaking do them the way they did them.
That was my argument too. I had heard it a couple times face to face. Was, oh my god, they hand oiled it. But like, it's historic. It's a really old place. And my argument was, it's old wood. It's really, really original old wood.
Really old.
I don't even know if
that might be shellac or lacquer for all we know.
Yeah. Would it have done damage if we ran an oil machine down it? Like, that was the thing I said was, would it have damaged it? Because that lane, Belmonte made a post where the approaches are uneven. The lane is uneven. Everything that has gone on in that house, it's so old, it's uneven. The lane oil machine might have actually damaged it.
Bro, can you imagine seeing the topography chart of that shit?
I would love to.
See, like the Rocky Mountains.
Imagine being the pin boy with Jason Belmonte and Tommy Jones.
Yeah, no shit.
Amazing.
I mean, God, this is not 1890 anymore.
I
That's
feel like it would look like an earthquake seismograph or something with
600 revs and 20 miles an hour.
The Holler House has been on my bucket list. I think it's super cool. And I love that they did the USA versus the world there. Really cool choice. Very cool. Because they could have just done it in the bowling center the World Series is going on, and they didn't. So it's awesome.
I loved it. I love seeing the pin center and back. I mean, I just love seeing the pros, like, Troop and all them sitting on the stairs. Like, just fucking, they're all hanging out watching the best in the world.
Anthony's face. Anthony looked like the way that I do when I go to Disney World, even at this age.
Yeah.
And he just, I just had a really, really cheese shit-eating grin. He was so happy.
That's so
Stephanie,
cool.
can we say hi to Eric? Can we bring Eric in for a cameo?
Yeah, we would like to.
Him. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
I miss him so much.
I miss him too.
I just texted him. He's listening, but I just texted him too.
Eric, come on in, buddy.
Come on, Eric. Come on in, buddy.
Oh, that's right. He's listening. Come upstairs.
He is listening. He's on the deck. I just texted him too.
Ocho, I know you don't watch bowling at all, so I don't even know why you're on the show. But did you happen to check any of that out?
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
I love you.
I'm trying to save time to do league.
That's a good answer.
Let's move into league talk real quick, Johnny.
Real quick. I was bowling my former trio teammate Jimmy Schmitzer head to head last night.
Jimmy Schmitzer.
First game, I could have punched for 259, and I got up in the 10 frame and left a split and bowled 222, and I lost.
Oh, fuck me. Wow.
My league talk?
Well, I'm almost done. This is really quick. My second game, I went 4 through the middle in the 10th frame to bowl 196. Yes. And then I switched to a Brunswick mindset the last game and had the front 10 and left an 8 pin and bowled 289 for 707.
Good for you. Good for you.
Wasn't a total loss. Go, Steph.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I gagged off 300 in a really big way on Friday night. What?
No.
I did. Yes, I did.
What does that terminology even mean?
I know. I had the front 10, aced the 10th one, really thought I was going to get every bit of 300, and just, for whatever reason, got the yips and left the 3.6 and bowled 288.
Fucking hate the yips.
Yeah.
The yips suck.
They do.
Not the yips. It was a little slow. It was good everywhere on the lane it should have been, but it was a little bit slow, so got the yips for 288.
Last week.
Meanwhile,
have you ever gotten the golf yips And what I mean is a very specific shot where like you'll stand over the ball with an iron.
I get the hosels, and I'll tell you.
Take it 100-yard chip, it goes dead that way.
Dude, this is a funny story. I've had the hosels off and on for a long time. I went about 4 years without them. We're playing in an outing with Neil, John L., and Mike Reisner. We're on the Pine Barrens, the Freehold Township Parks and Recreation outing, and we're actually doing good. I think we're probably only 2 back. Reisner, we're 116 out. He hosels one, and I lose my shit. And he goes, what? And he says the word. And I'm like, why are you saying this word? He's like, it's just a I'm not saying it. We know what it is. It rhymes with ank.
Shank.
Fuck! So, I stand over it with a little gap wedge. It's a little gap wedge to the green. It's straight up the hill. It's so easy. Haven't had a hosel in 4 years. Boom! Burned off the hosel. And now I'm just screaming. And I'm hopping up and down. John L. And now Reeser's laughing. Reeser's like, what do you mean I caused that? I'm like, you don't get it, you son of a bee sting. John L. stands over it, off the hosel. Everybody hoseled it. We lost by like 5 shots. It's a best ball tournament. We bogeyed the hole.
Oh my God.
So now anytime there's a freaking golf tournament and someone hosels it, I get about 3 texts from Reisner all year. Hey, did you see Sergio? And I'm not saying a fucking word. Ask that ball.
That's great. That's funny.
It's awful.
That is
he
hilarious.
ruined my life.
I honestly feel and understand your pain.
So yes,
very,
now
very sorry.
is that technically a yip, or is that something else? A hosel.
The yips are anything
where you're just
that's
you
mental
can't get a good shot.
interference.
Yeah. No, that's it. You're right. I never had the putting yips. Thank goodness.
I think the birthday boy is here. Yes,
there he is.
I wanted to get you on camera for a little while too.
Oh, he is cute.
Happy birthday!
I knew he was cute, but I didn't think he was that cute.
It's just a filter on the camera. It does it.
Yeah, it's a beauty face.
Mine too. Mine makes me look like I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah, mine makes me look fat.
Right.
Ours does that too.
Susie.
How old are you today, Eric?
26.
Unfortunately, 38.
38.
Shit, I'm older than you.
Congratulations.
Or Steph says 28 plus 10. So
Ocho, you're still the oldest guy in the show.
I'm ageless and timeless. No one can even tell.
Are we going to sing to Eric or what? What are we doing?
I'm not singing shit. You want to play a song for him while we're here?
I don't know.
Right.
I wasn't ready for this.
Do we have to say that we don't own the rights to the happy birthday song? Or?
Yeah, I don't want to get DCMA'd over this shit.
We could just not sing it. You know, we're not 6 anymore. Do you care if we don't sing?
I'm perfectly fine with that. She brought a candle out on the cake before and did not sing, and that's perfect.
I said, here's your candle. I don't sing, but make your wish.
I'm not big of that stuff. I'm a simple.
I'm with Susan.
Plain.
And if Eric's as old as he feels with the shit that he does in a single day, you're probably like, what, 17? So happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Johnny.
Yes, happy birthday,
shit, man.
Eric.
Okay, man. Have fun.
Do we have, hang on, Brian.
Wait, hold on. I just got to throw up this one comment. I missed it. I completely missed it. I just had to throw that up there.
Yeah, Taryn wants you to show the pictures of the candle to everybody but me.
She was talking about me with that candle.
I don't know if we took a picture of it. I don't think we did. I think we just blew it out.
No, it was a battery one. We saw it. Now, candle. Don't get anybody's mind twisted up.
Rob, do we have an imbecile this week?
Yes, we do.
What do you say?
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the imbecile of the week.
Some people are really stupid.
The Imbecile of the Week is brought to you by the USBC group on Facebook, as always.
Yes.
I love that group.
The gift that keeps on giving.
It really is. Johnny won't be able to see this, so I'll just throw it up for the rest of you. Bill Durham, great name, by the way, almost like Bull Durham.
I get it. Like that movie,
It's a great name.
Right?
He made a post, said, league bowling how it was and should be, and showed like bowling from the 30s and 40s. One lane courtesy, people ready to bowl when it's their turn. Okay. That he made a statement. That's fine. Some people agreed, some people disagreed, but this one comment here, I just got to throw out here. It's from John Van Til. If you need 2-lane courtesy, then go find a 2-lane bowling alley. Can't wait for nationals. Hope some 2-laners are next to me. Going to make people mad.
What's a 2-lane bowling alley? Like in King Ralph or Kingpin?
The 2-lane bowling alley is not a thing.
No. And we've discussed this in the past. And again, this is a territorial thing. That's, if I want, let's see, if I want pork roll, egg, and cheese, I go for it in New Jersey. But if I am in California, it's a little bit harder to come by, right?
Right.
Just different parts of geographically where you're from dictate in bowling how many lanes of courtesy you're supposed to give.
Right.
And I somewhat respect the guy for saying, fuck 2-lane courtesy givers, because I now live on this side of the country where it is completely obsolete. There is only 1-lane courtesy out here. It is only 1-lane courtesy at USBCs, but fuck the USBC. Don't ever compare anything that they do to something that's actually good.
Yeah, they're a rotten crotch is what they are.
They're the same fucking rotten bunch of assholes that try and kick you out and get you out of there as fast as fucking possible. I fucking hate you, USBC. Can't
You said that all in one breath.
And they yell at you when you're not in Jersey in the squad room.
Right. Oh, that piece of shit.
They run out of breath when they get mad, those Italians.
My biggest thing with 2-lane is if you want it, then you can wait for it. I don't automatically assume people want it, but if they want it, they can wait for it. Like, I used it at Nationals. I didn't expect everyone around us to give it to me. I waited for it. So if you want it, you can wait for it.
Absolutely. Got no problem stepping off the approach for an extra 5 seconds.
100%.
That guy's making me uncomfortable 2 lanes away. Yeah. I don't like the fact that guy carries his towel in his back jean pocket while he's delivering the shot. So I'm going to fucking wait for him to be done. Yep. You can do that.
But if you're going to a house that requires 2-lane courtesy, don't specifically post that you can't wait to fucking piss somebody off, because you're going to get a receipt on that when you get there.
And the biggest thing about it is with the 2-lane courtesy is the sense of entitlement that people have to it.
Yeah.
Like, do you have to drop your bowling ball down on the ball return loud enough and then stare at me like you're going to walk over to me and punch me? You're going to come and fucking punch me because I jumped up on you from 20 feet away, you fucking asshole? Those are the people that they deserve to, get kicked in the nuts. It's disgusting. But preference is preference.
Sounds like we're sticking up for this imbecile all of a sudden.
It brings up that great topic, because when I go home to New York and New Jersey, I know I'm given 2-lane courtesy. Steph, what's it like in Pennsylvania?
It's 2-lane. So prime example, because he's here, Eric's tournaments announce 1-lane, but over half the field uses 2-lane because that's very typical for the East Coast.
Of course.
Which again is why I said when we go to Nationals, I was using 2-lane at the stadium, but I did not expect it. I waited for it, but if I was on the approach and someone came up next to me, I was not slamming a ball down and acting a fool. I was continuing my delivery because it just was what it was.
Does 2 lanes slow down the game that much?
Oh, it does. It does.
I'm a bowl on a 3-man, a 3-person league. I'm the only man there, clearly.
We gave 2 lanes to JBT back in the day in the Northeast, but I mean, that was just,
But in the Northeast, Rob, what you just said, the Northeast, for whatever reason, that's a very big thing out here. And I didn't realize it was very local to the Northeast until I started bowling in places like St. Louis and Texas and Vegas and Reno. But it's very, very common out here.
I love what John said, because that one gets me too. The people who stay on the approach after they've thrown their first shot, like they'll leave a 10-pin and then they'll stand on the approach and wait for their ball to come back. It's like, there is no way you're that dumb. And there's certainly no way somebody taught you that.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Now I'm going to try it.
I had a bowling teammate for years out here that did it. And I let it go because he was my teammate and he was relatively new to the game. But I
you want to squash that early, though, and be like, hey, by the way.
I should have, because for the rest of my life with him on my team, I'm sitting like, oh my God, he's embarrassing me so much. This guy's my team. I can't. John, just tell him to step off. He's not going to get offended. And if he does, it's not your problem.
Right.
Anymore.
You're the one that's supposed to be embarrassing yourself. Damn it. Come on. This is the reputation you're holding.
So, imbecilic comment. I don't know if it's imbecilic. I do think that the whole, if you want 2-lane courtesy, go to a 2-lane center. Oh, yeah, you're a funny guy. That's good.
It's not a thing that exists.
Oh, I thought he meant like there was a bowling alley that had 2 lanes in it. That's what I thought he like.
Yeah, the Holler House. Yeah, the Holler House.
The Holler House has 2 lanes. That's where we're going.
Oh, never mind.
Well, how the hell are you going to give somebody 2-lane courtesy in a 2-lane bowling alley?
You're not.
You can't even give him 2 feet
There is
courtesy.
the imbecile.
All right, so good. At least we got to the imbecile part of it.
Yes, that was certainly an idiotic statement for sure. So
I'm a
congratulations
rational
to you,
guy. Don't
Bill
throw that
Durham,
shit.
and good luck to the Bulls this year.
Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Can you just call them really thin pancakes?
I don't know my Twitter.
I do.
Everybody does.
You know my Twitter?
You're like at Dr. Ocho something.
But clearly you don't know it.
It was close. It's more than you know.
Actually, it is Dr. Ocho something. You have to type
Dr.
out the
Ocho.
word something, and it's all one word, Dr. Ocho something. No
Yeah,
spaces.
you're at the Dr. Ocho.
There you go.
Oh, shit. That's right. I took the something off.
At
And I love saying that I'm at JPJR07, and I've never ever once opened Twitter. I don't even have it.
Spoiler alert, dude. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they don't need to know that because Rob's been on there trolling people. I mean,
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Actually, I got locked out, and I haven't.
Goddamn hit.
I got locked out having to ask Johnny for the password. So,
Nice play. All right, we done?
We are done. Stephanie, thank you for being here. Eric,
Thank you so much for having me.
happy birthday, brother.
Eric, happy
Thanks,
birthday
guys.
again, dude.
So much
I'm
fun.
jealous
Happy
of this stuff.
birthday.
You guys all.
And Taryn, call me after 11. Like
Is bowling still on? I'm assuming
It
that
is,
game
yeah.
4?
Game 4.
Yep.
Game 4.
Okay, I'm going to hop on and watch
Guys,
the last
thank
2.
you so much for having me. I really, really love being here. I
welcome.
love chatting with you guys. It's so much fun. So hopefully,
And what's Stephanie's Twitter?
at Sheridan214.
Something.
Something. Right.
Is that your sport bowling average?
No, it's like not 214 though.
That's her league average, Johnny.
It's not my league average.
Thanks for everybody, as always, for being here. We
Thanks.
Guys, thank you so much.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
The other
big
best
comment.
friend, we have to read her comment because with always impeccable timing, Suzanne. Boulder, Cavalier, Mid-State, Majestic, Howell, my whole life, 2-lane courtesy.
Yep.
South Jersey, 1-lane courtesy.
Aw.
When I first started bowling league down here, I would give 2 lanes, and there's a few people in the league that actually complained about me. Becca?
Because I waited.
yeah.
Like, how is my waiting an extra 15 or 20 seconds killing your game? F off.
Like, fuck off.
You probably can't see them.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
That's why I said Becca, because it's
Our
a
league-
BECA
our league up
dot,
here-
dot, dot.
Right. Our league up here is 1 lane. Tournaments are 2 lane.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
and yeah. We could talk about lane courtesy.
I have lots of complaints about me, but none are about league courtesy or.
Hold on, we forgot to ask Ocho about his league. Ocho, how you bowling, buddy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, don't worry about me, little old me, just looking good as all.
We just shoot 670 last week.
No, I didn't. But
6-4.
here's the funny thing: since I do get to talk about my league at this point, should we close the show and then I'll tell you after? You want to do something like that? You rotten sons of bitches.
You go right ahead.
Oh, I can. Okay, great. I mentioned the essence of spare shooting on our chat, and we never got to it because I mentioned it. And that's why when you're like, do you contribute anything? No, I don't. Piss off, Rob. So I shot a 685, I think it was last week, and it was
That's
a 240. It wasn't. I don't think I'm right. 245, 255, and then a 185. That's not 685. What does that equal?
695.
45 and 55.
You're the doctor.
Eric's a 95 something. Eric's math is like stupid.
And a
Yeah, I was still reading comments. I didn't. You said 40. Eric knows the
245,
answer.
255, 185.
So it is 685 because you're 100 over. And
It
then,
should be 5, 5, and 5. Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Eric's brain when it comes to math is stupid. Like
We're talking about me or Eric now. Like, what are we doing
Eric's
here?
brain. When
All
it
right.
comes to math, Eric is like 10 seconds ahead of the curveball. It's wild.
He's way ahead. He does like
Way
negative.
ahead.
Well, see, Eric's brain does useful things. Ocho just remembers every goddamn
Nothing important.
every
whatsoever.
Steelers game from 1935 on. So
Negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. I got that shit down.
All I know is Don Barrett shot 300 an hour ago.
awesome, good for you.
We're going to
Tom.
go watch that on the deck.
There's
All
a
right.
bar by me called On the Deck.
This
Anywho,
time, I'm really saying goodbye for on behalf of all of us. I'm saying to all of our viewers, that,
Guys, thank you again for having me. Love being here. Have me again.
and we love the activity in the chat, and we love that you guys tune in to hang out with us every week to listen to us bicker and banter and go back and forth about nonsense. So, thank you very much.
what the hell was that?
All right, guys.
Thank you, everybody
Nothing. It was
for
perfect. End the
Point
show,
you,
Rob.
Steph.
thank you for joining us
Anytime. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, we won't be here next week. I'm going on a cruise. I'm going out of the country, so no show.
We can't do a show because you ain't here?
Oh, I mean, Johnny doesn't know how to run
Eric loves cruises.
My favorite type of vacation.
It's his fave.
We're going to Aruba. We're going to Curacao, somewhere in the Dominican, and someplace I can't even remember. But
what cruise line?
Carnival Horizon. We're going on.
Oh, okay.
Enjoy it.
Well, you enjoy yourself, sir.
Yes.
Thank
Have
you
the
all.
best time.
Appreciate that. And everybody else here, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Love you guys. Later.
Love you too. Bye.
Peace. I
still never got my league talk in.
I thought you froze. Oh, no. Sorry, dude.
Are we still live?
Sorry. No, we're not. We're done.
All right.
We're off, right?
Yeah, we're off. We're always off.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.